Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Turkey and the election, and NATO and Russia, and the EU, and what it means for everybody. We're going to do this because I got a message that was basically like, hey, why am I seeing more coverage about Turkey's election than I did about my own state election? Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. What's happening in Turkey right now is important for the international poker game where everybody's cheating. There's a lot of chips at stake in this election. So, what's happened over there, multiple people can run, but you have to have 50% to actually win. So, you have a first election, and then there's a runoff election. They're moving to the runoff now because the current leadership didn't get 50%. The current leadership been in power a while. Like most people who have been in power a while, they become more and more authoritarian. No different, okay? Over the years, has moved away from NATO, the EU, the West in general. Not in any treaty sense, but more in just attitude and rhetoric type of thing. Nobody at State Department would admit this, but I'm pretty sure they're all rooting for the challenger. The challenger has indicated they plan to move back towards the EU and NATO. Current leadership also has a tendency to greatly overestimate the value of Turkey to not just NATO, but really the United States in particular. There was a time when Turkey was really important. Not so much today. Not so much today. And this is something that we've talked about on the channel before Ukraine. Ukraine just really kind of brought everything into focus. Moscow is going to want the current leadership to be reelected. He's not really like the Kremlin's man in NATO or anything like that, but he is, the current leadership is more sympathetic, let's just say. Not to the point of actually like really being on Russia's side, but is warmer to them than most NATO countries. Most NATO countries. So the U.S. is going to want the challenger to win. Moscow is going to want the current leadership to get reelected. And in addition to all of the economic and the standard stuff dealing with Turkey itself, Sweden, if the challenger wins, Sweden is a whole lot more likely to become a NATO member faster. There's a whole bunch of little stuff like that that's at play. That's why it's being covered. Not necessarily anything huge in and of itself. There's not one specific thing. It's a whole bunch of little things that make a whole bunch of people really interested in the outcome of this election. And that's why it's getting the coverage it is. That's why so many different outlets have kind of zoomed in on this, because there's a bunch of little stories that will come out of this depending on who wins. And the odds are, I guess traditionally, I don't know this for certain, but from what I understand, generally speaking, the challenger is going to win on this one, because basically all of the other candidates were kind of against the current leadership. So all of those votes that went to the third candidate or fourth candidate should transfer to the challenger. But either way, it's probably going to be really close. So we'll have to wait and see what actually happens when they have the runoff election. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.